today's video, I'm going to be demonstrating 4 different cards. Now these cards are part of my October 2021 ordering special, and how it works is anybody who places an order with me until October 25th using my special host code will receive the supplies to make all 4 cards in the mail as a thank you gift, and anyone who places an order of $60 or more before tax and shipping receive the supplies to make these cards plus a package of embellishments. If anyone's order is $200 or more, and of course this is all in Canadian prices, then don't use the host code so that you get your host rewards, but you will still get all the supplies to make the cards plus the package of embellishments. So the 25th has come and gone, and now I'm going to be sharing the PDF tutorial and the class, the virtual class, with everybody. I love the cards, and I hope that you guys will too, and I hope you enjoyed this card class. These are the cards we're going to be making this month. So we have this card with the beautiful Happy Holidays stamp set. This is a fun fold, an accordion fold on the inside. And then this is a nice simple card with our snowflake doilies. And this is a nice card using the Enjoy the Moment stamp set and our watercolor pencil crayons. So some are simple, some are stepped up a little bit, but still really stinking easy. And so there's a couple, well, I didn't want to do all Christmas. So we've got 2 Christmas, and then this can be used for any occasion. And even though this is Christmas paper, I didn't want to make it a Christmas card. It's actually a birthday card. So it says, every season brings its own wonder. Hello, friend. Happy birthday. Celebrate. And then my message will go here. And my best friend's birthday is actually Christmas Eve. So a lot of people have birthdays in December. So I thought I would make a wintry birthday card. So let's start stamping. So the first card I'm going to make today is this one here. It's a really fast, simple card, and sometimes we really need fast, simple cards, especially if we're mass producing for Christmas. So the card base is real red, and this is cut 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And hopefully you can see the embossing because I love this embossing folder. This is part of the wintry embossing folders. So this is a 3D embossing folder. Like, look at those snowflakes. Can you see that? Love them. And then this is the other one that comes with the snowflakes. Again, it's called the Wintry 3D. And I did use this on another card that we're going to be making today. So as you can tell, it's a little bit more narrow than our standard size. So what I did is I just put it in, let me zoom out just a teeny tiny bit here. So I did put it in like so, and then just put it in my machine like that. Okay, so this edge, these 2 edges I should say, are not embossed. On my original card, they are embossed because I slid it over, but you can kind of see that line where I did that. And I thought, you know, it's going to be just fine just in the center. So that's what I did. I just put it in the middle and ran it through. Then I have our beautiful, wonderful snowflakes. Now this is the free embellishment gift that I am sending out to everyone who placed a qualifying order, which was $60 before tax and shipping. And just so you know, the deadline was October 25th. So it's already come and gone, and all my card kits are already made and ready to go out in the mail. And yeah, I have all these beautiful packs of snowflake embellishments going out to my customers as a thank you for their orders. So I'm going to take 3 of these out. These are beautiful, and I love the size of them. They're the perfect little size. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these and just line them up, and I'm going to cut them right in half. It doesn't matter where you cut them in half. Let me show you behind here. So you could cut down on this side or on the long side. It's whatever you choose to do. There's no right or wrong. So I'm going to go down this way. Whoops, lost a couple snowflakes. Bits and pieces there, that's all right. Trust me, no one's gonna notice. So that's what you're gonna end up with. So we're gonna push those aside. Okay, so I'm taking my glue and I'm just gonna put a couple little dabs behind the snowflake. Now, little tip, our silicone craft mat is ideal for this, and using a sponge and sponging on the ink, so much easier. However, I have recently rearranged my craft room, and do you think I can find my silicone mat? Nope, no idea where it is, but I'm gonna order another one, and I guarantee you the day it arrives, I'll find the first one, because isn't that always the way? So I'm just gluing this right on like that. And I'm gonna do that so I get a second one here and do it on the top end also. And I'm just gonna overlap them a little bit. Okie doke. And this little bit comes over just a, let's see. There, see, this little bit comes over a little bit past it. You can trim that or leave that. Your choice. And also there's a shiny side and a dull side. I'm putting my glue on the dull side. Okay, only need a tiny bit. I'm lining up the two long ends to go down the center, like so. And that's off just a tiny bit, so I'm gonna move that. Let's do it this way, like so. I'm using my take your pick tool just so I'm not getting tons of glue on me. There. And if you have a little piece sticking up, then just go ahead and add a teeny bit of glue and push that down. If you ever have glue where you don't want it, once it's dry, you can use an adhesive remover. I know you can get these at craft stores. You can just simply erase it and get that extra glue off, and this works really, really well. So I'm bringing in my Real Red ink pad. And I'm bringing in the poinsettia petals because I love the Merry Christmas in this stamp set. And it looks beautiful on this card. I'm going to pull out my pieces. Now when my card kits are sent out, all of the pieces are inside envelopes and everything is pre-cut and run through the embossing folders for some of these cards. Any die cuts are done, any punches are done. So you just have to stamp and assemble. And if you don't have the same stamp set, then just use the stamp sets that you do have. Okie doke. I'm just going to ink this up because it's photopolymer. I like to stamp on that cushion. And this is just a scrap strip of basic white. There we go. And I'm just going to cut on that diagonal that way and go the same direction here. Then I'm going to bring this in and glue this on. And then I'm going to put it on my gold foil cardstock. And then trim this off. Like that. That gold looks so pretty on there. And I'm going to put this on my card with Stampin' Dimensionals. Add Some rhinestones. So those of you who are getting my card kits, your rhinestones are included. And any other little embellishments and ribbons and trims, those are all in the kit. So I'm just putting these rhinestones in a couple of the snowflakes. I'm putting 3 on. I tried 4 or 5 when I was designing this, and I found it was, I don't know, I thought it was too much. Let's see, let's put 1 here. So there's that card done. Doesn't get any easier. And I did this one a little bit differently, where I flagged the ends. I wanted to show you the difference if you just go on the diagonal cut. And I'm going to put a piece of paper on the inside. As many of you know, I just use computer paper, but you can certainly use your basic white. And there you go. Card number 1. Here is card number 2. So I'm going to emboss my Poppy Parade and Garden Green cardstocks. Now, these both measure 2.5 by 3 3/4, and I'm using the Merry Melody embossing folder. So what I'm going to do is slide the platform over. I'm going to open my embossing folder. It's tricky to show on camera. And grab my papers, and I'm going to position them on so that they're side by side. Okay, and I also want to make sure that they are straight on the embossing folder because I want the pattern to continue onto each other, if you know what I mean. See? So it's straight, and the pattern will continue over to the next piece of cardstock. So I'm going to slide this in while holding that down so that they don't budge too much, and run this through. And there we go. Okay, so that's how they're going to go onto the card. So I have my 4 by 5 1/4 piece of crumb cake cardstock. I'm going to take my glue and glue on my garden green, and I can see I have cat fur stuck to this, or dog fur. Stick that on like so. My original card that I made, I used gray because I kind of wanted to tie in the bird. And honestly, I didn't care for it. The crumb cake looks so much better. So you'll see the difference when I finish this card. There. And then do you see how the pattern of the embossing folder, with this particular embossing folder especially, continues on? I like that. I look at that a lot. All right, so I'm going to take my tear and tape, and I want this in the middle, actually. So I'm going to put that there. Tear the tape. And then just wrap it around. And I'm going to add a piece of my fine art gold ribbon. As you can see, I'm recycling this from a card that I had to play with a little bit. So I'm using it on this card. Okay, so take that off. Oh my word, look, I got bits of paper stuck. Oh well, no one's gonna see that, right? No one's gonna see that. So I'm gonna take my fine art ribbon, and I am going to lay this across like so, and wrap it around like so. And actually that's more than what I need. I'm gonna trim that little bit off. Okay, and then I'm going to glue this to my old olive card base. Love this Happy Holidays stamp set. I'll grab my little birdie. And I am using my black Memento ink pad because I'm going to be coloring this with my Stampin' Blend markers. I'm just going to, I'm going to stamp off. I want the tail to be off the page. And you'd be like, what the heck? He needs that tail. Don't worry. Because what we're going to do is stamp a second one on a scrap piece. So we're going to color them both. And then I'm going to bring in my birds and branches. Now you can freehand the little branch if you want. I'm not good at freehanding, which is why I stamp. I'm going to pull in some, I am going to pull in soft suede. I'm just going to stamp, I'm going to stamp here like so. Continue this on like so. Maybe another one off here. We'll leave it at that. I love combining our stamp sets with other stamp sets. So much fun. And now I'm bringing the holly that's in the same Happy Holidays. And I'm going to put this on my block. And again, I'm stamping with black memento. And I'm going to stamp some holly on here. Make it look like my bird is sitting on a holly branch. Now look, I'm going to do something kind of radical. Brace yourself. I'm going to stamp right on top of my bird. I know. No one said you had to be normal when you're stamping. Go crazy. Go crazy. Oh, and look, I have ink there. That was not planned. So now we're going to put holly there to make it look like that was planned. And clean my fingers. Okay, so now it's time to color. So I'm going to use my soft or light and dark smoky slate. And I'm going to start with the light. And I'm going to color this guy in first. I'm going to color the whole top half with my light smoky slate. And then this guy, because we're going to cut this one out and put him on top of this one. So you don't have to color the whole bird, but I'm just going to do a little bit around the edge. Just a tad, just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to take my dark smoky slate and I'm going to go down on his tail feathers like so. And I just keep my coloring with my Stampin' Blends simple. There's times where you want to do fancy pantsy and really get the shading spot on. But, you know, stamping and coloring shouldn't be stressful. Just have fun. Have fun. Now I am going back over with my light. And you can definitely see, like even the light is moving that dark around. So you can see where I've got that. But we're also going to go back in with the color lifter in a moment. Now I don't have Poppy Parade Stampin' Blends, but I do have Real Red. So moral of the story is use what you have. Okay? So I'm going in with my light Real Red. Like that. I probably should have put some more gray on his face, so I will come back in and do that. And I'm going to go in with some dark, kind of following these lines here. Oh, my finger keeps sticking to that glue. I'm going to bring in my light smoky slate and color in more of his head like so, and maybe go over this a little bit just to blend that in a little. And Daffodil Delight. This is my light Daffodil Delight. I'm going to do the beak here too. And then I'm going in with my, let's see. Now I'm going in with my light pale papaya, just to add a little something something to break up that daffodil delight. So again, use the colors you have. And I'm going to take my color lifter now, and I'm just going to swipe along here, kind of blend in along where that red starts, and just kind of lighten that up a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to move this around like so. Okay, so there's my bird colored. Let's go up here a little bit more. Oh, and we need to color in his legs on the main piece over here, and I'm using, what am I using? Dark cinnamon cider. Okay. And while I'm on this guy here, I'm going to take my soft suede marker and continue on with the branch where I didn't get it with the stamp. And I'm actually going to make a little branch come here too. How am I going to do that? We'll go like this. See? It's good, it's good. Let's extend this out too. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this guy out. And notice, didn't worry about the legs on him. Isn't he pretty? You know, I just had a thought. I want to make some of these into like little ornaments for my tree. So I'm gonna have another video showing you how I do that, because I love these little birds. I love them. So before I put this together, I need to color my holly. So I'm gonna start with my, let's see, dark granny apple. And it's kind of out of the lines a bit, so I'm gonna use the fine tip. Color it in. Now I don't have garden green in my Stampin' Blends, but I do with my Stampin' Write marker. So I'm going to use that. Now I'm using my Poppy Parade marker because I want the berries to coordinate with my cardstock. And again, I don't have Poppy Parade in the Stampin' Blends, but I do in the marker. So use what you have. If you have the ink pad, use the ink pad with the blender pen or our water painters. Okay, so now I want to add some balmy blue. So I'm going to bring that out with my blending brush. So I'm going to pick some of that up, go off a little bit so it's not too loaded, and I'm just going to lightly go around the edge of this. Oh wait, forgot. I'm using our trio punch. I want to round the edges, the corners I should say, of this piece. Okay, now where were we? There we go. And this is just fun because it breaks up the white, and it just adds a nice finish to the edge, but I'll still have some of that white in the center of my stamped piece, which I also like. Now I'm going to put this piece onto my card base with Stampin' Dimensionals, and this goes on. Oh, I forgot to stamp my sentiment, guys. Oi. Oi. Okay, let's try stamping the sentiment after it's already on dimensionals and see how it works. And if it doesn't work, don't try this at home. All right, we have Happy Christmas. Make sure that's, yep, that's good. All right, let's see what happens. Here. Phew. There's just a little bit of that S that didn't get nicely inked. So I'm going to take the journal tip of my Real Red marker and just go over that. Again, the magic of having ink pads and markers that coordinate so beautifully. Okay, so now let's add our pretty bird. More dimensionals. Let's grab a mini for his tail. Little mini Stampin' Dimensional right here. So you could line him up exactly, or you could stagger him a little bit up or a little bit down to get a different look. And I'm going to stagger him just a tiny bit. Just a teeny tiny little bit. This kind of gives him more of a 3D look. There we go. So you see how it kind of gives that extra 3D kind of look to him? I'll tell you, it's supper time here and my dogs are at my feet letting me know, Mom, it's like 35 minutes past supper. So let's add some clear wink of Stella and the bow, and then I'll go feed my hounds. And then I will be right back to keep on stepping. This clear wink of Stella looks amazing, amazing on this bird. And add some to the holly berries and the holly leaves as well. Really gives it that nice shimmer. And then the last thing is to add a bow. So now I'm going to take my tear and tape. You could use a glue dot, but a lovely subscriber on my channel shared the tear and tape trick with me about a year ago, I guess, maybe longer, and it's a great tip because it really holds your bows down. Look at that. And I do actually need an extra glue dot, just because I like to hold the tails down in place where I want them. Now I do have a white gel pen. I just picked this up at our office stationery store, and I like to add a little white dot to our berries. Kind of adds a nice highlight. And the original that I made, I did go ahead and stamp the inside, and that's how I stamped the inside. And I will stamp the inside of this card the same. And you can also see I have the Poppy Parade on the left versus the right. Both look beautiful. I really, really love this card. Okay, so my animals have had their supper. I've gone and poured myself a little bit of grape juice, wink wink, nudge nudge, and this is the card we're gonna make now. And this is a very simple card, but I love it. Great card for the nature lovers, for masculine cards that we need. I'm gonna show you how simple this is. So basic white, cut down at the 4 1/4 mark. So it's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Then I have 3 strips of basic white, which right now I can't remember. They are 3 1/2 by 1 1/2. Okay, 1 1/2, yes. 1 1/2 by 3 1/2. That's it for supplies. So let's do our stamping. And the stamp set I'm using is called Enjoy the Moment. Where is it? Oh, I've already got it on my desk. That's why I can't find it. This is the stamp set. Okay? So let's pull out our stamps. I'm going to start with this big one. Do you guys know what that is? That is poppy pods. Okay, I am going to use my black StazOn for this. Put that aside. I'm going to bring this in. And this, as far as I know, is milkweed. My friend Debbie was over yesterday helping me cut for all these card kits. And I'm like, what are these? What are these? And I have a cat up on the desk. Eek. Here you can have my chair. And then add the other image here. And then these little guys from the trees, we used to always call them whirligigs or helicopters because when you drop them, they spin around. So those were always fun to play with when I was a kid. My brother and I would play with those. And let's see if we can squeeze a little bit up there. So that's that panel sorted. The last panel, I'm going to use these guys, and Debbie told me what these were yesterday, and today I can't remember. So I'm sure some of you watching will know exactly what plant this is, but at the moment I am drawing a complete blank. There we go. And this little seed image, I'm going to use that just to add some variety inside this panel. Put another one there. Okay, so now it's time to color. Ooh, I almost spilled my wine. I love using our watercolor pencils, and it seems that whenever I use them in a video, I have people ask me to do more videos with the watercolor pencils, so I am happy to do that. I'm going to color the milkweed first, and I'm going to use, this is my Old Olive, I'm pretty sure this is Old Olive, and I'm just going to go on scribble a little bit here, whoop, not on those, just on the outside of these pods. Now when I'm using my watercolor pencil crayons, I'm just really relaxed about it. Like, I'm not super particular about where the color goes, because when I add my blender pen or when I use my water painter, it all blends in beautifully. Now I do want some garden green because that's a nice bright green. So I'm going to add that a little bit in here. And a little bit in here. Okay, and some brown. This is Cajun Craze, actually. That's all right, gonna use it. Look, I'm just scribbling inside. Crazy, 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 crazy. Okay, let's set that aside. Now I'm bringing in my early espresso, and I'm gonna add some dark here and there. And this is how I personally quite often use my pencil crayons. So I am going to take that early espresso and I'm going to add a little bit to my little helicopters, as we called them, and a little bit of my crushed curry, and that. Okay, and I think that's good. Now watch what happens when I bring in the blending pen. I will zoom in for you guys. I'm going to start with the green. Look how it blends in together. Like, isn't that the coolest? I just love our watercolor pencils. Just blend it in. Very hard to do this while holding it in the air like this. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. And just blend that in. And I like to work in each color first because otherwise it's all gonna kind of look muddy. So I like to work into the, like for instance, the greens, and then I'll go in and do the brown. So you see, look, just blend that in. It literally feels like butter when you're blending this in. I just love these watercolor pencils. So just blend these in. Go back and forth to clean your brush. And now I'm going into my little whirligigs and color those in. And if you want to add some extra color, you can take your blender pen and just dip right onto the tip of your watercolor pencil, and you can add color that way. And that's always fun also. I think I want to add a little bit of orange with this. Just a bit. Just to brighten those up a little. Okay, so that's that one done. Slide that over. Bring these over. The mystery plant that I can't remember what the heck they are. And I'm just taking my real red and adding that. And then I'm going to take rich raspberry and go on the outside. Actually, I think I want something darker. What have I got that's darker? Maybe we'll use some gorgeous grape, because that's going to blend in pretty nice with the real red. Just kind of going on the outside. And remember, if you're ever coloring something in like this and it's not quite the right color like in real life, you know what? You're the artist, and use the colors that you want to use. Too many people stress about all these fine details, in my opinion. Or if you do want it to be correct, which quite often I do, I will Google the plant if I knew the name. Helps to know the name. And right now, I'm just winging it. This is Granny Apple Green, which adds a nice bright color. And I'm gonna add, let's see what we got here again, Cajun Craze. Let's add a bit of Cajun Craze to these, just a bit. Oops, went out of the line there. Okay, and then I'm gonna color these in. See, look how those blend in. So cool. I'm working in the center and working on my way out, because otherwise you're gonna pull that purple into the red and lose the red. And back and forth on my paper, and then work in the little seeds. And then the stems. Okay, there's that panel done. Last one, and this is my favorite one to color. So I'm gonna take Daffodil Delight and add some yellow. And then I'm gonna take some Early Espresso, add just a little bit of that. Get the top a bit. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of my Old Olive. And these are kind of like a grayish, bluish color. So I'm gonna add a little bit of Bermuda Bay as well. So I'm just drawing on, this is my interpretation of the poppy pods. And maybe we'll add a bit of green down these as well. To Granny Apple Green, just to brighten it up. Add a bit of Granny Apple here too. Okay, this is magic. When you blend something like that in, magic. Magic, watch. I'm gonna start and work my way in and blend it all in. Look how cool. Look how that comes together when it's all colored. Absolutely love how that turned out. So that's the coloring done. Now it's time to splatter. And splattering is one of my favorite things. But first, wine. Hote. Splattering with crumb cake. I'm gonna take my crumb cake. Let me zoom out a bit for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to dip my clear block into my crumb cake to pick up some of that ink. Then I'm taking my water painter, which I've kind of messed up the tip of that a bit. I'm going to squeeze some water out and pick up that crumb cake, and I'm just going to tap it onto my finger. Just like that, and add some really cool splatter marks. Okay. I'm going to do that to all 3 panels, and actually I need more crumb cake. So I'm going to grab a bigger clear block and a bunch more ink and do some more splattering. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. I want some more on this one. And this one. Okay. And using my blending brush, I'm going to go around the edges, just like I did on the bird card. Definitely want to leave some white in the middle. Those look so pretty, in my opinion. I really, really like how they turned out. So I'm going to bring my card base back in. I'm going to stamp my sentiment with my StazOn since it's out. And good things are worth waiting for. Very true. Stamp that right here. And now I'm going to glue these on. So I want that one to go in the middle and like that. Okay, so I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals on these. On my original cards, I glued these on, but I'm going to use Dimensionals so you can see the difference and decide what you want to do if you have the card kits at home or if you choose to make these at home. So now I'm going to take my embellishments, and add 3 down here. I'm going to use a glue dot to put my bow on. And the bow is going to go right here. So pick that up, put that here. And I don't know how to fix that little bit of ink, and I'm really not going to stress about that. It is what it is. It's homemade. Homemade cards are not always perfect, right? But it's made with a lot of love, so I am not going to worry about that little tiny bit of ink. And there is that card done. So let me show you the first one. So you can see I used more of the red with the rich raspberry on this one, where I have more of the gorgeous grape. And I love the simplicity of this card. Oh, and also you can see the difference with the dimensionals versus glued directly to the cardstock. I really think these are super pretty cards. So I hope you enjoyed those, and we have one more card to make still. Okay, I'm gonna flip this over and make it a little bit cleaner and bring in the last card. So here's the supplies for that. And where's my card sample to show you? Here we go. This is the accordion card with the designer series paper inside. Okay, so easy. So I am using the Painted Christmas Designer Series paper. I'm going to score this at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to do the mountain and valleys, also known as the accordion. Okay, so that's what I end up with. And depending on what you want on the inside of your card base, let me show you. I have Evening Evergreen, our standard size, so 5.5 by 4.25 when it's closed. If you want this pattern on the inside like that, then you're gonna fold with this up on your left and have it go like that, right? So those two ends are up that way. If you want that pattern, then you're gonna have to go reverse. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so then these two ends are gonna get glued on like so. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're folding your paper, which way you want it to go. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this pattern on the inside. So I'm just going to line this up, just basically making sure it's about 1/8 of an inch on the top, the side, and the bottom. I'm gonna fold this up and add my glue to this panel. Oops, come on glue, where'd you go? There you are. Okay. Fold that down and fold the back panel over. And then, boom, you have your accordion piece for the inside. Now for the front, I have another, well, same pattern, but some people that got the card kits are gonna have different patterns. And this just measures 4 by 5.25. So you could use the same pattern or the opposite pattern. I'm gonna use the same pattern. That's on the inside. And see what happens. I'm gonna put that here. Then I have other pieces in my envelopes. So let's see. Let's start with this. So I have my Evening Evergreen panel. Oops, and this measures 4 by 2, I think. Let's see. 4 by 1 3/4. So I'm gonna put this in the center, and then I'm going to use the leafy pattern. This is 1.5 by 4. I'm gonna put that on here. Then I have, where are my pieces? I have a piece of vellum cardstock, and I've run it through the pine embossing folder that's part of that wintry embossing folder pack that has the snowflakes I used earlier. This is the pine, and when you put a vellum through your embossing folders, oh my gosh, like look at the magic. It's so beautiful. So I'm going to put this on this way. Now I'm gonna put some glue on in the center. You're not gonna see it, it's gonna be covered up. Oh wait, ribbon. Where's my ribbon? And then some red rhinestones. And put one here. And one here. Okay, so there's the front of the card. Simple, but fun. It's got the texture from the ribbon, the texture of that vellum. Really, really nice. And then we have the inside to decorate. So for that, I'm using the double oval punch. Okay, so I have a strip of my Evening Evergreen. I'm gonna punch out 3 ovals. And then I have a strip of basic white, and I'm going to cut out 3 of the smaller ovals. So I'm gonna start by stamping on these pieces. Going back to the Welcoming Woods. So we have good luck on your new adventure. So I'm gonna stamp Hello Friend. I'm gonna stamp that first. because I have 3 to stamp, and I'm going to do them all in real red. So I'm going to stamp Hello Friend, and then I'm going to stamp a Celebrate. And lastly, I'm going to stamp Best Wishes. Now bringing my dots and my seafoam green back, I'm going to add some dots like I did on the front. Stamping off. Actually, we'll add a couple more. There we go. So even though these are technically Christmas colors, green and red are so pretty together. So this is not a Christmas card I'm making, but it's definitely something I can send during the holidays or any time of the year. Take my glue and glue these onto their evening evergreen oval. If you ever can't get your glue to come out, take a safety pin and just poke it in. And I just keep this in my desk, and that will get things flowing again, just like that. I'm going to set those to dry for a moment, and then I'm going to bring this strip in. This strip measures 1 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to use the little leaves that are part of the Welcoming Woods stamp set, because I have the leaves on this designer series paper. So I love that. Love that. It's going to work out really, really well coordinating with everything. So I'm going to use my soft sea foam as well as I think my garden green. So I'm going to stamp just a few on like so. This is going to be the piece that I would write my sentiment on. Let's add our glue. Now this can go on either side. It can go on this side or this side. I'm going to put it on this side. And now it's time to add my little oval. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. And actually I want to do the center one. So I'm going to do Celebrate. I'm going to add a little bit of glue, and I'm just going to put that right in the middle and press it down. And I'm pushing the edge of the oval right into the crease. Now you could use squares, you can use circles, you can use whatever you want. I decided to use the ovals because it had this oval punch, which makes it really quick and easy. And that's all there is to it. So when you open it, you have Hello Friends, Celebrate, Best Wishes. That one budged. Get back where I put you. And then here I have where I would write my sentiment. And then on my original card, I put this piece, which I stamped, over on the right. So every season brings its own wonder. Hello Friend, Happy Birthday, Celebrate, and then I'll have my sentiment here. So you can, you can see the difference. You can really play around. I hope you enjoyed this card class. And again, those of you who have received the card supplies to make these cards, I hope you have a lot of fun with them. And those of you who received the package of embellishments, I know you're going to have fun with those. And the beginning of November, I will have the same ordering special with a different host code and different card designs. So if you live in Canada and you'd like to get the supplies for free as a gift with a qualifying order and the embellishments for next month, be sure to click on my link down below or on my blog, and those will be sent to you, my gift to you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Happy stamping!